Long before modern nations drew borders across maps, the first imperial experiments began in the cradle of civilization. In Mesopotamia, between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, city-states competed for dominance until rulers began uniting them under centralized authority. The Akkadian Empire under Sargon of Akkad is often considered the world's first true empire. For the first time, diverse cities were ruled from a single capital. Standardized administration, taxation systems, and military organization emerged. This was revolutionary. Power was no longer confined to one city. It could stretch across regions. The concept of ruling multiple peoples under one sovereign laid the foundation for every empire that followed. The idea of imperial governance was born here, thousands of years before the idea of nationality. Centuries later, imperial governance reached a new level of sophistication under the Achaemenid Empire. Founded by Cyrus the Great, Persia expanded from Central Asia to Egypt and the Mediterranean. Unlike earlier conquerors, the Persians mastered the art of managing diversity. They divided their empire into provinces called satrapies, allowing local rulers to maintain customs and religions while remaining loyal to the king. Royal roads connected distant territories, creating an early communication network. Administrative efficiency, standardized taxation, and respect for local traditions made Persia stable and resilient. Modern federal governance systems echo this balance between central authority and regional autonomy. Persia demonstrated that empires could unify without erasing identity. While Persia governed vast lands, the Greek world was developing a different legacy, intellectual and political innovation. Though not a single empire at first, the conquests of Alexander the Great created a massive Hellenistic realm stretching from Greece to India. Greek language, philosophy, science, and art spread across continents. Cities like Alexandria became centers of knowledge. The blending of Greek and Eastern cultures created a shared intellectual world. Even after Alexander's empire fragmented, the cultural unity it established influenced Rome, the Middle East, and eventually Europe. Concepts of democracy, philosophy, and scientific inquiry that shape modern nations today trace roots to this era of imperial expansion and cultural fusion. From a small city on the Italian peninsula rose the Roman Empire, one of history's most influential powers. Rome perfected infrastructure, roads, aqueducts, ports, connecting Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. But its greatest contribution was institutional governance. Law codes, senates, and citizenship transformed how people related to the state. Over time, even conquered populations could become Roman citizens. The concept of written law influenced later legal systems, especially through documents like the Corpus Juris Civilis. Modern republics, parliaments, and judicial systems reflect Roman innovation. Rome proved that an empire could create durable political institutions that outlived its military dominance. While Rome dominated the West, East Asia was unified under dynasties that would shape governance for 2 millennia. The Han dynasty strengthened centralized rule, expanded trade along the Silk Road, and institutionalized the civil service examination system. Officials were selected through merit-based exams grounded in Confucian philosophy. This bureaucratic tradition ensured administrative stability even when dynasties changed. Standardized currency, measurements, and infrastructure unified vast territories. Modern state bureaucracy, competitive examinations, and centralized governance in East Asia reflect this ancient imperial system. China demonstrated that an empire could sustain cultural and political unity for centuries. In the 7th century, a new imperial civilization emerged, the Umayyad Caliphate, followed by the Abbasid Caliphate. These caliphates stretched from Spain to Central Asia, linking continents through trade and scholarship. Under leaders like Harun al-Rashid, Baghdad became a center of intellectual achievement. Mathematics, astronomy, medicine, and philosophy flourished. Greek and Roman texts were preserved and expanded. Banking systems and trade networks connected Africa, Europe, and Asia. This imperial network laid foundations for global commerce and intellectual exchange that still shape our world today. In the 13th century, the Mongol Empire under Genghis Khan created the largest contiguous land empire in history. Though often remembered for conquest, the Mongols unified trade routes across Eurasia. The Silk Road flourished under their protection. Technologies, ideas, and goods moved between China, the Middle East, and Europe at unprecedented speed. Diplomatic missions connected distant courts. This era accelerated globalization centuries before the modern age. The Mongol Empire compressed geography, proving that imperial unity could reshape global interaction. By the early modern period, empires such as the Ottoman Empire dominated vast territories across Europe, Asia, and Africa. Yet by the 18th and 19th centuries, new ideas emerged: nationalism, popular sovereignty, and democratic governance. Revolutions in America and France challenged imperial rule. Gradually, empires fragmented into nation-states. However, modern nations inherited imperial roads, legal systems, administrative models, and cultural identities. The world before modern nations was not chaotic. It was structured by empires that built trade networks, codified laws, and shaped civilization. Today's borders rest upon foundations laid by ancient rulers. Before flags and passports, before national anthems and constitutions, empires built the world we now inhabit.